Welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. We have agreed a £29.8 million deal for Mikel Merino with Real Sociedad. That is €35 million in fixed payments. Add-ons will be included as well. It's a crazy deal. We're going to be talking about it. I'm not sure why Arsenal have really gone crazy with this one, but like I said, we were always going to be desperate in the last days of the window, and Real Sociedad have just capitalized on that. Fabio Vieira is one of the players Mikel Arteta is open now to letting go out on loan this campaign, and according to Team News and Ticks, Arsenal are looking to bring in 2 to 3 profiles in the next 2 weeks of the window. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. This video is brought to you by KiwiBet. Make sure you do check them up. They bring you the biggest and best odds right now. Of course, you can use their bet arena to copy all my receipts and just bet on them. You don't need to make research. Just use the bet arena option and you can, copy all my receipts and then place your bets. Now, let's get into it. First and foremost, yesterday, Arsenal agreed a deal with Real Sociedad. In principle, it's going to be €35 million. That is 29.8 million to sign Mikel Merino from Real Sociedad to Arsenal. Now, sources, including Fabrizio Romano, confirm that talks will continue this weekend to get the deal done. Arsenal want it before Monday, and possibly Real Sociedad also want it before Monday. We've had a lot of vigorous talks in the past on this deal. Fabrizio says it has taken a couple of weeks, like 4 weeks. 2 clubs have been in talks for 4 weeks to confirm whether we'll be getting Mikel Merino from Sociedad. And finally, the deal has been agreed. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with Arsenal splashing cash. I really don't. But I have a problem with such deals. And this deal doesn't really make a lot of sense, in my opinion. If we wanted to sign Mikel Merino over Eze, over Fabian Ruiz, and over Bruno Guimaraes, the reason was he was a market opportunity and we were going to get him for around £25 million, and it would have been a good deal. But because we've done it later in the window, very late in the window, Sociedad know that Arsenal have not made any improvements to their squad. So therefore, if their key target, if their priority is Mikel Merino, they were always going to ask for a lot of money. €35 million for a 28-year-old with 1 year left on his deal. That is a lot of money. That is comparable to what Manchester United wasted money on by signing Casemiro. And we all said that was a bad deal for Manchester United. That was a deal that didn't make a lot of sense. And we thought Arsenal was past this stage. But I remember saying 1 week ago that if you don't sign players earlier on and you sign players later in the window, there are 2 things that happen. 1, clubs will sniff out your despair and they will capitalize on it. Secondly, you're going to miss out on key targets. You're going to miss out on your key players. So you look at the midfield options that have been available. Kimmich has been available. Guimaraes, Douglas Luiz, and we missed out on all of them. And we've settled with Merino, who is a priority, fair enough, for Mikel Arteta. But at what cost? At €35 million. For me, it's not too much, but it's a deal that Arsenal could have done in a much better way. It's a deal that we would have, got for 25 million, 30 million euros, or even less than that. So Sociedad win. Mikel Arteta gets his player, but I think we have been cheated a little bit here. We have been, we've been ripped off. However, I think what Mikel Arteta is looking at here with Mikel Merino is we are going to sell in order to bring him in. So it really doesn't matter. If Edin Ketia goes for 35 million euros or 30 million euros, it will depend. Then, he will look at the Mikel Merino deal as one that balanced the books. And again, it's unfair that we're going to get 30 million euros or less than 30 million euros for Edin Ketia, and we're bringing in Mikel Merino for 35 million euros. I would tell you 100%, if this deal was done in June, if this deal was done in July, there is no way Arsenal would have paid even close to 35 million euros. Would have paid around maybe 28 million euros for this guy, and the deal would be done. Imagine Merino wants to play for Arsenal. He's already told Sociedad that. Arsenal have had contact with Sociedad for weeks, and they knew how serious we were. It was just about getting the timing right, and we absolutely got the timing wrong. So Merino will be coming in that midfield, and there is a departure expected at Arsenal, and that could be Fabio Vieira. So according to Team News Antiques, more transfer business is going to happen at Arsenal in the next fortnight as we close the transfer window, but we are expecting Fabio Vieira to be one of the players that could be a part of this exodus that Arsenal are having. So he could be one of the players that we send out on loan this summer. The things that I really don't understand, like 100%. I think one of the very, very confusing things that Arsenal have done and I've never understood was the signing of Cedric Soares. I didn't understand that. I think the other one is the signing of Fabio Vieira. Can anyone tell me why we signed Fabio Vieira and straight away the manager didn't trust him? So we went and spent 35 million on a player the manager didn't trust, and we signed that player within like 48 hours, and now we are on his third year, we are sending him out on loan. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't, because when you look at that summer, the players that we signed in 2022, Fabio Vieira, Alexander Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, I think yeah, is it? I think there was one more player. I think there was one more player. Of all the players, it is Fabio Vieira that has made close to zero impact. Of all the players, it is Fabio Vieira that you cannot really quantify, his output at Arsenal. And I don't think that the manager ever trusted him the way he trusted Jesus, the way he trusted Alexander Zinchenko. Because I'm gonna say this, even if Fabio Vieira was prone to mistakes or did have a few bad performances, we have seen Mikel Arteta play some players through some bad performances. Courtesy of he likes them, courtesy of he trusts them. I'm talking Zinchenko, I'm talking Gabriel Jesus, I'm talking Kai Havertz. So if Mikel has played Havertz until we have been given the PR picture that Kai Havertz is actually good, if he has played Gabriel Jesus through his injuries, through his bad times, and the same with Alexander Zinchenko, what happened with Fabio Vieira? And if he didn't trust him, and if he didn't want the profile, why did we sign Fabio Vieira? Because as far as I know, the last time I heard is Mikel Arteta has a say in who comes in at Arsenal and the profiles that we look at. So Fabio Vieira's profile is so different from all the profiles that we have signed. He's not as versatile as other players. He likes to play in that number 10 stroke 8 position. That is all. So he's not as versatile as Zinchenko. He's not as versatile as Havertz. He's not as versatile as Gabriel Jesus. Secondly, if you come to think about it, he is the only small player Arsenal have signed in like the last 5 years under Mikel Arteta. And we've been talking about it on this podcast lots of the time, that Mikel is intentionally making his team bigger. Well, with Fabio Vieira, I think we got the physical attributes of the player wrong. Someone was given, a sheet of, attributes, and they absolutely got it wrong because he's so small, he's so short. He doesn't reflect what Arsenal have been doing in the transfer window, and hence the manager has not given him game time. I think there is a technical player there. I think there is a very good player there. But I also think that Fabio Vieira could be one of the elements that show us that Mikel Arteta has been kind of following Pep Guardiola's script. Because, Bernardo Silva is very similar to Fabio Vieira. Not in technical ability, because Bernardo Silva could be the best player, most talented player in the Premier League. So in technical ability, no. In talent, no as well. But when you look at what both of them want to do and what both of them look to do, they're very similar. So was Mikel Arteta really trying to create a Manchester City 2.0 by signing Fabio Vieira and trying to make sure that he has every player that Manchester City have and every profile they have? Maybe yes, maybe no. But that is wasted money. And I've wasted some money before as well, so I know what it means to waste money. And I think this one, either we give him one more season And even if you gave him one more season, with Mikel Merino coming in, Martin Odegaard doesn't pick up injuries. And again, even if Martin Odegaard picked up injuries, I don't think Fabio Vieira is the player to come in to replace Martin Odegaard. So Vieira is one of the players that we are looking to sell. Team News and Tick says that 2 to 3 profiles are being monitored by Arsenal, and we still want to bring in around 2 to 3 players, and this is also going to depend on sales, but it will also determine sales as well. 2 to 3 profiles, same question I said last week. With what time are you really going to work on 2 to 3 profiles? If you have not signed players in the last 6 weeks, how sure are you that the next fortnight is going to be different? How sure are you that the next 2 weeks are going to be the difference maker? I just don't understand it. I just don't understand why we couldn't get deals done in June and July for players that didn't play at the Euros. I just didn't understand why we waited so long. 2 to 3 profiles, probably we're talking about Mikel Merino. Probably we're talking about a winger as well. I would be very surprised. Like Edu said, we won't be disappointed. I would be very, very surprised if Arsenal did something more than 2 signings, like Merino and another guy. If we add another guy with sales, I'll be very surprised. It means that our transfer game, has improved massively. Because what I think and what I expect is, 1, we will bring in Merino and we will bring in a forward player. Secondly, I think Eddie Nketiah will leave. We'll talk about Eddie in a minute. And I think maybe one more player, because we're struggling to find where to send them. We were talking about the wages 2 years ago, and I was like, why are we giving players like Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson 100k wages a week? And all clubs have said, if your players are earning 100k wages a week, there is no way we can afford them. There is no way we're going to sign players that are earning 100k wages a week. So I'm going to say this, whatever happens between now and the end of the window, our window has been massively affected by the first months. Our work we have done has been affected. So 2 to 3 profiles is good. I don't have a problem with that. But can we do it with sales? No, we cannot. Can we do it with with bringing in sensible players? Because yes, you can sign anyone. Like Arsene Wenger went on deadline day after being beaten by Manchester United 8-2, and he signed every kind of player that he found on the market. You see Benayoun, Park Chu-young, Pamet Saka, Mika Arteta, couple of other players. I don't remember the others, but I think Santos as well. Did he come in on that deadline day? You remember this stuff. So unless we're going to sign some trash players, because with trash players, players that are not used, I've heard that we are interested in Noni Madueke, and I'm like, are we really destined to get Chelsea rejects all the time? We want to sign Noni Madueke? Seriously? We are looking to compete with Man City. They have brought in Savio from Girona, one of the best Brazilian wing talents, and we are bringing in Noni Madueke, who is struggling to find game time against Raheem Sterling, who is like 28 years old. We've got to be serious. So for me, unless we are going to do some bad business, I don't expect Arsenal to do very well in this window. However, Kieran Tierney is wanted by Leicester City. The problem is that he's injured at the moment. It will be very interesting to see whether they're looking to bring him in and then cover for his injury recovery. It would be very interesting. I think Tierney is unfortunate as a player. Massive talent, very good player. He's just so unlucky. It's as simple as that. He's just so unlucky. He just doesn't get to play enough. He just doesn't get to have that consistency and that consistent run of games that a player of his caliber would actually want. But Leicester City, if they want him, how long is he going to be out for? I don't know. Picked up that injury at the Euros. We have not received a clear update of when he's going to be back, but I am presuming maybe December. Maybe earliest December, earliest November, that's when you could have him. So could Leicester City take the bait and take the risk, maybe take him on loan and wish to sign him later if he becomes better? That we wait to see. Now, Arsenal are struggling to sell Eddie Nketiah, and this has been revealed by a very credible source. Arsenal are struggling to sell Eddie Nketiah. They had thought that Ramsdale and Eddie would have very many suitors this summer, but we have been pretty much disappointed. And the disappointment for me is not something I didn't expect. When you give such players huge wages, you expect to be to struggle to sell them. So Eddie's one player that Arsenal always wanted to sell in order to bring in a new striker. And remember, we looked at Benjamin Sesko and we wanted to sign Benjamin Sesko for around 57, 58 million euros. And that showed you that Arsenal were confident we were going to let go of Eddie. However, at the moment, looks like all the teams would rather sign another option, another player, rather than Eddie Nketiah. For starters, Marseille said, let's go with Elia Wahi. And Bournemouth have said, to replace Solanke, let's go with Evan Nilsson at Porto. If Eddie Nketiah didn't have 100,000, and if Eddie Nketiah was 25 million euros, trust me, he would be out of Arsenal right now. So we are stuck with him. And does that affect how we work on the market for a striker? Probably doesn't. I pray that it doesn't, but I'm assuming that it actually does. Right? So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. The big news is that Mikel Merino's price has been agreed. It's expensive, but at least we have another deal agreed.